Following Anthony Yarde getting destroyed by David Benavidez, there's been a lot of talk around Anthony Yarde leaving Tunde Ajayi, who has, of course, been his trainer since day one as a pro. He's overseen Anthony Yarde in all of his professional fights. And, through the ups and downs, there's not been a ton of ups, but especially through the devastating downs of his career, Tunde's been there. And a lot of people are saying that Anthony Yarde, should change trainer from Tunde, and that Tunde's not been great at navigating Anthony Yarde's career, and he's not really improved much. Now, at this point, as big of an Anthony Yarde fan as I am, he is a lost cause in terms of probably him becoming a world champion again. Or not again, for the first time. I think at this point he's too old. He's taken some beatings, and those beatings mentally, even if physically Anthony Yarde will always come into a fight in good shape. Mentally, in terms of him having to dig in and get deep, each time you get stopped, it becomes harder to reach that point of digging in, right? Not that point of digging in, but it becomes harder to reach that point deep within you where you need to pull something out, right? He was able to nearly pull something out against Kovalev. He rocked him, but eventually he lost. Against Beterbiev, gave Beterbiev some problems. Eventually he lost. Then by the time he fought David Benavidez pretty much just ran through him, right? So there is that, and that is why I don't think that Anthony Yarde changing coaches would make a ton of difference, because at this point you can't teach you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Anthony Yarde will not change the style of fighter he is. Like, when the going gets tough, Anthony Yarde is going to be a guy who's going to pot shot and look for counters, and the guys who he's fought have been awful stylistically, right? You can't counter Benavidez. He throws too much volume. You will struggle to counter Beterbiev because he hits so hard. Kovalev was a guy who had far too much experience for Anthony Yarde and was able to recover. And when Anthony Yarde was exhausted, Kovalev stopped him. This is what Anthony Yarde is as a fighter. Changing coaches, if he starts getting trained by Andy Lee, that's not going to change. If Anthony Yarde starts getting trained by Bomac, these things, they're not going to change. Now, there may be some things these guys can improve. Maybe they'll try and make Anthony Yarde a bit more of a front foot fighter. But again, when the going gets tough, you revert to factory settings, right? So when the going gets tough in a fight, now, Anthony Yarde could go out there and fight a guy who's like a Dex Spellman, and fight another area level fighter and smoke them. But you can have Tunde in your corner for that. Tunde can navigate that perfectly. It's when you're talking about these world level guys, your Beterbievs, your Benavidez's, your Bivels. These guys will all beat Anthony Yarde. Meaning Anthony Yarde has no route to a world championship. So in my opinion, why bother changing coaches at this point? If he was going to change coaches, he should have done it after Kovalev. Even in my opinion, after Kovalev, it was already too late. But he was a bit younger. Do you know what I mean? You can make a argument for that. But what's next for Anthony Yarde? Honestly, he may as well just stay with Tunde. You do the Boatsi fight, win or lose, you take the payday and retire. That's it. So at that point, as I'm saying, at this point, you may as well just stick with Tunde. There's no point in changing it because you can't change coaches. It's like I'm saying, you're not going to change to Bomac or Andy Lee or Ben Davidson and then suddenly a route to become world champion opens up. There is no route for Anthony Yarde to become a world champion, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Do you think Anthony Yarde should stay with Tunde? Of course, I'm saying Anthony Yarde should stay with Tunde because at this point, it makes no difference anyway. Anthony Yarde, there is no route to a world title for Anthony Yarde, so he may as well just stay with Tunde. But there may be some people that think, okay, well, if he changes coaches from Tunde, maybe he can beat Boatsi, and then maybe he can work himself back to a interim title shot against the winner of Callum Smith, David Morrell, whatever. Maybe there's a potential route there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Tunde has been a good fit for Anthony Yarde? Do you think it continues to be a good fit for Anthony Yarde? Or do you think Anthony Yarde should look at changing representation? I'd be curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.